Hi first class, Mr. Dunk here, and today we're looking at page 70 in our Planet Maths book. You might be wondering why we've missed page 69. Don't worry, we will be doing page 69, but we're going to do that and look at that during our Zoom lesson, which is on tomorrow. So for today, we're looking at page 70, which is on tables, and in particular, subtraction. Now, subtraction is something we've done a little bit of this year, not loads, but we have talked a lot about it, and so hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. Exercise A and B are very similar. They talk about this here. When you take 0 away from a number, the number stays the same. Now, if you find that hard to understand, just imagine you have, say, some sweets. You have a bag of sweets, say you have 10 sweets, and if you give sweets to someone else, you're going to have fewer sweets, which means that the amount of sweets will be less, which is what subtraction is. When we subtract or minus or take away, they all mean the same thing, by the way. We make a number smaller. And we make a number smaller by giving things away. So if you have 10 sweets and someone asks you, can I have a sweet? And you say, yes, you can have 0 sweets. Well, what happens? Nothing. You don't give them any because you're giving them 0. You're giving them nothing. And you have the same amount of sweets as when you started, which was 10. So 10, if you have 10 sweets and you give away 0, or 0 are taken away, you'll still have 10. Let's have a look at a couple of these just to show you what I'm talking about. So the first one is 9 minus, or subtract, or take away 0. So I have 9 at the start. And remember, when we subtract, we'll just select the pencil here. The pencil doesn't seem to be working for some reason. Oh, there we go. Just roll that out now. There we go. Is that working? Perfect. So we have 9. We start off with 9 and we subtract 0. We still end up with 9. Now remember with subtraction, when we subtract, we're making a number smaller, which means the first number always has to be the biggest number. Okay? Because that's the number that you'll be making smaller. Next one, 8 take away 0. Well, I have 8 pencils, and someone asked me, can I have a pencil? Yes, you can have 0 pencils. Well, that just means I'm being mean and not giving any away, so I'll still have 8 pencils, won't I? So the answer is 8. I think you are well able to get those 2 columns done pretty easily. Let's have a look at the second part of the page. And here we have, once again, a 100 square. Now, 100 square, if you remember, is the numbers from 1 to 100 in 10 rows of 10. Starting here with the number 1, it goes all the way up to 10. And then we come down a row. Here we are on the left-hand side, we start at 11. And that will take us all the way over to 20. And then the next row down is 21. Up to 30, and so on until you get to 100. Let's have a read over here. Counting backwards on the 100 square. Well, that's an important thing, that word there, backwards. Yesterday, when you were looking at 100 square to add, you went from left to right, the same direction as you would go if you were writing, for example. But when we subtract, instead of making the number bigger, we're making the number smaller, which means we're doing the opposite. So instead of going from left to right, we'll go in the opposite direction, which is right to left. Anyway, let's have a look and see what this little alien is saying here. So this is the example. 14 take away 2 equals 12. They've given us the answer. But let's see what it says for us to do. So cover 14 with one finger. Well, you can cover it, or what I like to do is just draw a square or draw a circle around it. So there's our first number, and as you can see, just like I said, 14 is the biggest number of the 3. Cover 14 with one finger, then count backwards, and that's important. 2 spaces, so we're going to make 2 jumps backwards. So we'll do that now. 1, 2. Where did you land? 12, and 12 is the answer to 14. Take away 2. Okay. I'll that out. It's a little bit annoying that they've already coloured in 2 of them red and blue. I like it, my 100 square, to be nice and clear if possible, but we will be okay. Now, there are 24 number sentences here, subtractions, questions, whatever you want to call them, for you to do. And unlike yesterday, they're not all being subtracted. All the numbers aren't subtracted by the same amount, which means it might take us a little bit longer, but I don't think it will take too long. Most of them we're subtracting by 1, 2, or 3. There's a few that are more than that, but you should be well able for them. And just because I'm so kind to you guys and so helpful, I'm going to do 3 of them with you. So I'm going to set the pencil. Do number 1. I think I'll also do number 7 and number 9. Okay. Let's have a look. Number 1 is 12, take away 2. So we're going to start off with the biggest number, which is 12. So we're going to start at 12 and we're going to jump backwards 2 spaces, or 2 numbers. So we make our first jump there to 11, but where will the second jump be? There's nothing over here, so that's not right. We're actually going to go over here, because one more jump from 11 would take us to 10. But have a look, 10 is on the row above, and that's very important. You make sure if you come to the end of a row when you're subtracting, you go to the row above. If you're adding and you come to the end of a row, which would be over the right hand side, you go below. But when you're adding, you go to the row above. It's not like when we play snakes and ladders and you curve around. Otherwise, that would take you from 11 to 1, which is not correct. So 2 jumps from 12, 11, and then all the way over here, 10. 12 take away 2 is 10, which is where we landed. Number 7 is 10 take away 3. So we'll start off at 10, and we're going to do our 3 backwards jumps. 1, 2, 3. That brings us to 7. Now remember, make sure when you do your jump, you don't jump and land on the same number that you started off. It's not 1, 2, 3. That would bring you to 8. When you jump, you move one way or the other, to the left or the right. And this time, we're going to the left. Number 9 is 20, take away 1. So there's our 20. Ooh, still on the eraser. There's our 20. And we're only going to subtract 1. When we subtract 0, we stay the same, but this time we're subtracting 1. We're taking away 1. So it's 1 jump from right to left, to the left there. We end up on 19. Okay, I've done 3 for you. If you have any problems, let me know. Have a go at page 70. Bye.